off at the door and then I'll go out and wait. I'm going to win this one. Oh, yeah. That was serious. He's on his way to the pits now. Yeah. Didn't have any idea you were coming down. Didn't tell you. Is he going down there right now? We're not laying down in the pits with him today, though.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, alright,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Alright, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. And then you P1, yeah? Alright, what's the barriers? What number? 16.
That's the last one anyway. Oscar? 35, the last one, buddy. Yeah, all good? Go on.
So BIKC have mixed it up a bit for this year. Instead of having one straight 15-minute qualifying session as they did in previous years, they've decided that they're going to do 3 sessions where you'll have a 4-minute qualifying period and then an 8-minute racing period. So this is period 1 Oscar's going out for. The problem is he didn't realise that this is a qualifying session he's about to head into. So he's going into this thinking it's practice. Therefore he spends this 4-minute session defending. He's got a cart tight on his bumper all the way around. We couldn't understand what he was doing from the sidelines watching on. So yeah, this is a bit of a disaster for Oscar. And as you're about to see, out of the 12 races out there, because he wasn't trying, he qualifies in P9. So enjoy this. Oscar now thinks that this is practice. What you can't see here is that Oscar has another cart pinned to his rear bumper, literally pushing him through the top section upstairs. He, as you'll see now, looks over his shoulder as he goes around this apex, and then when he goes around the next right bend, you'll see he takes a tight defensive line. Doing this lap after lap just absolutely destroyed any chance he had of finishing, you know, within the top few in his qualifying group. I'd like to, and I should be saying that this must be a gut-wrenching feeling for Oscar, but the truth is, at this point he has absolutely no idea that he's just completed a qualifier and that he's now about to go out for a race. So he's sitting there right now thinking that they're all being lined up ready to go out and set qualification times. So what you're about to see right from the start of this race is Oscar essentially attempting a last to first place at the BIKC regional finals. It's not the place where you want to be attempting that sort of challenge. So essentially this session you're about to see now is the end of our BIKC championships.
24.
Right, so this is the very beginning of race 1. And Oscar's been pushed to the back. I don't know. Yeah, Oscar's just been shunted to the back right as it went green, which was literally a second before I started recording. Yeah, our reaction then, as you can hear. We're so used to seeing Oscar shunted out at the beginning of race starts. You know, why should we think anything else has happened? We had no idea at this point that Oscar didn't know he was in a race, and he just moved aside there and let everybody past him. And then on the down ramp he was going so slow and the gap was so huge in front of him, we thought also that he had major kart issues. And so now, believing he's in a qualifying session, he slows right down and lets the gap ahead of him get huge. Yeah, he's got no chance now. I don't know what happened to him, he got smashed out of the race.
What's wrong with his cars?
I'll know by the I'll know from the helmet cam footage.
What's the name of the guy then, isn't it?
It's a long way, he's got 3 qualifying sessions. It's a hell of a long way back to finish last in this. Yeah, of course, the race had finished right now just as Oscar's making some positions back. That was exceptionally frustrating to watch. All the time and the effort that's gone into this over the last couple of months for a simple mistake by Oscar to believe that the first session was a practice session. I do believe that had Oscar properly understood the format, that had he qualified properly, he could have made the top 5. And then in the actual race, I reckon he could have got into the top 3. We didn't release the final practice session that we did here the week before, purposely because of the amount of overtakes that Oscar was doing and what he was showing on track. We didn't really want to put that out there too early. So, knowing what we know, he should have been a lot higher up the field, and I do believe we'd be looking at a top 3 finish at least. He got loaded out, didn't they, or something? What happened? The start of the race, what happened? You got hit? I don't know, he's not saying what. What was what, a hint? A hit? A heat. Yeah, that's the first one. That's the first heat done now, yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, there's 3 of them. That's the first one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened at the start?
I thought it was a quali.
It was a qualifier.
Oh, you let them past?
I didn't know. He didn't know.
Alright, okay. We'll go on to the next one. You've got some work to do now to get back in that top half. Some serious work to do.
Yeah.
How'd you get on? How'd you get on?
Right there. Oh yeah, sure.
You thought it was a quali? And then just get top 3 every time now. You've got a table anyway. You thought it was quali still?
So you thought that was a collar and you let him pass. I thought you'd been bashed out on the corner here. So you was going for lap time. Which I think you got about the
That
third.
was the first one, wasn't it?
The third fastest lap on it in the end. But you managed to get past 2. You're going to do some overtaking in the next 2 qualifiers to get up. Go for it. Alright, you can do it.
Now watch it. Alright, dude. Everything you've got, okay? Alright, be aggressive. Very aggressive in the race. Alright? I'll see you on the other side.
Guys, just a reminder, do
Take it
not
off.
turn your own clock on.
Oscar, yeah? Is that the same car?
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, this was a frustrating one. A P10 finish, absolutely nowhere near where we needed to be. And we really have to point the finger more towards the kart. We feel this time Oscar just wasn't getting anywhere near close to what times he was pulling in practice on his last session, which was a week and a half earlier. We'd seen other people as well pulling 37.5s that were doing 38.5s the last time we raced with them. So we were expecting to get into the 37s today, and this just wasn't happening for us. So frustrating. P10 essentially rules us out of any hope really of getting to the front end of the semi-finals. So we do need a P1 in the next heat now, otherwise it's pretty much game over. You can see here just how much time we're losing to the karts ahead on this hairpin, as I was saying earlier after the qualifying session. They just simply pull away from Oscar here every single lap. The karts are ahead shortly, as you'll see, crashes into the barrier and still pulls away from Oscar on the exit. You can see Oscar's frustration out there now, clearly raising his hand. He knows he can't do anything now to move further forward in this race. He needs to make up positions, but this kart's just failing him. Coming out of this hairpin, every single lap he's losing pace to the kart ahead. The kart ahead is essentially starting to pull away from him now. And it is incredibly frustrating editing this and looking back on how it all happened. Oscar explained this to us after the race. And in fact, the karter ahead, his mum overheard me talking to somebody else as Oscar was explaining this. And she turned around and sarcastically told us that every single kart is identical. We know that's not the case. Rental karting doesn't work like that. And we'll never expect it to work like that. We just want a bit of luck, as I've said multiple times in our video. And again, the karting gods have failed us today. And this is essentially what's brought our BIKC journey to an earlier end than we'd have hoped. In fact, this is the exact incident Oscar was talking to me about when he came off track, which the other boy's mum overheard us talking about. You'll see the other boy ahead now take a massive chunk of the apex on his way through, which should harm his exit speed, but still, even though Oscar gets the turn perfect, he still manages to pull away slightly from Oscar. So another exceptionally frustrating result, one really that was dictated by the kart that we're driving. There's not a lot you can do about this in rental karting. As I keep saying over and over again, you just got to hope that at some point, you get some luck. But yeah, this kart had major issues coming out of this downstairs hairpin just coming up now. And it's just completely cost us the event, essentially. What we didn't speak about so far in this video is the fact that during the practice sessions that we've done leading up to the event, Oscar got a 38.0, and he did that without knowing that you can double boost. So we only found out the night before this event that you can double boost. We expected that to knock about half a second off Oscar's lap time, bringing us down to maybe about a 37.5. We've seen other people like Jamie Schumann that we know in practice just days before this event got a 37.5. We knew that the brand new tyres they'd fitted had bedded in and everybody else had got their PBs. So we were genuinely expecting to smash the 38.0 mark. But this one kart 35, has just essentially made that completely impossible. So we move on to Heat 3. We do need a P1 finish if I'm going to be completely honest. Anything lower than a P1, P2, maybe P3, if you know what I mean. Below that, we're not really going to make the final. So fingers crossed Oscar gets a good kart, can pull out a rapid lap time and take one of the top positions in the quali and then hold that or improve on that, if you know what I mean, in the race. Here we go. So for Heat 3, as you can not hear, our camera decided to switch itself into slow motion, running at 1/8 of normal speed. So I've had to fast forward this now by ×8 to get it back to normal speed, but it's recorded with no sound. So I'm going to get straight into the race, going to put some music on it just to make it a bit more interesting and bearable. And let's see how it gets on.
on the way this time. Cold, I wanna be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature, it's just that you from the storm. Hold on, gotta get the right tactics to turn you on. And girl, I'm in a papa, you can be the mom.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong going on here. This is way off the pace that Oscar's raced at in practice. If we go back 10 days ago to the previous practice session he did 8 15-minute race sessions back to back, no hot lapping, no qualifying, just full on racing. As you can see on screen now, along with Kai Newman and Harrison Fisher, you can see he got a 38.0. And of them 8 15-minute race sessions, the slowest session he had was a 38.3. However, since that day, everybody else set new PBs. Most of the people around us have been getting well into the 37s, 37.5s. Yet Oscar's times have got slower, only now on the BIKC. So the kart selection has absolutely screwed us. Oh God. I think it was the guy behind Reese tried to get an overtake on him or something. It's the guy behind, wasn't it? I think. Guy behind ran into him.
I think it was Oscar and the running below.
Right. Well, you heard that, dude. She's put the blame on you. We'll see on the helmet cam footage and then I'll include this in the edit. So I said I'll edit this into the video, and I am. I'm here to defend Oscar. He's my son and he's done nothing wrong in this situation. So as they come around the corner here, the boy in the pink, which is that lady's son, attempts to get the inside line on Oscar, fails and ends up going wide on the way through the turn. The boy in the yellow helmet jumps up the inside of him, and on the way around the hairpin out of view now, he puts the boy in the pink into the barrier. Oscar comes down the ramp there, completely ahead of everything. And as you can see now on this angle from Oscar's helmet cam, there is absolutely no contact with Oscar's kart. He hasn't crashed into anybody, he hasn't done anything wrong, he's completely innocent of the whole situation. That was a solid race there from Oscar, making up 2 positions, especially considering the kart he had placed him in P9 on lap times for this race, with his best lap being a 38.56, which is awful. P6, we'll see where that takes us, and obviously we need to be high up in the semi-finals. If we're anything lower than 6th position, for example, and we knew this in the lead up to the BIKC, then getting them top 3 positions is going to be virtually impossible. So let's see where we end up.
Yeah. We line you up in a different...
18.
What's your name?
Oscar Mallet.
Oscar M. No, Oscar.
Back now.
Try escape. Got it?
Right, Oscar's semi-final is in Group 1 and he's coming out in P8. Needs to make the top 6, preferably higher. Two positions. Oscar's starting the semi-final in kart 18. No idea about that kart. Probably telling Popone to work with him. We're doing a rolling start and we'll go back over to the other side. Yeah, he's got, yeah. I've watched this over and over and I can't make my mind up on whether Oscar does or doesn't touch Jaden's carts ahead. Either way, this costs Oscar heavily now. The gap that opens up is huge and it allows the kart behind Oscar to get right back onto his tail. Later on around the lap as we get to the down ramp, as you'll see, the kart behind Oscar then attempts a lunge down the right hand side of him. Lots of contact and basically dictates the way this race finishes. Yeah, so that's caused the gap ahead of us to open up some more, and unfortunately Oscar's just not going to be able to close it back up before the race is over. I will say in this kart, which is number 18, that Oscar managed in this race a 38.012, and that was his fastest race of lap of the day. That put him in third position in this race, so why couldn't he have got this kart for one of the qualifying sessions? Because if he'd been qualifying in P3 throughout the event, which he's more than capable of and which is about where he was expecting him to be, then he was more than capable of moving up, and I think we'd be looking at a completely different video now, and I do believe we'd have been in with a very, very realistic chance of heading off to Warrington in November. he's only gone and let everybody past at the start, thinking that the 8-minute race was a qualifying session.
You were the one saying it was a quality.
Oh, you give yourself some serious work now, dude. Put it there. Listen to how quick he is to blame me for that. No, to be honest with you, we didn't see this mistake coming from him. It's just a simple slip up. But moral of the story is listen to the marshals, not to your old man. To be honest, we've enjoyed the event. We've enjoyed the lead up to it. It's another track conquered, more experience in the bag. And realistically, Oscar's only really been having serious competitive karting at Team Sport since the early weeks of July. So a long way to go yet in terms of how he performs on Team Sport tracks. We're still really just getting started. So we'll be spending the next 12 months working towards next year's competition. And let's hope, you know, that a little bit of kart selection luck next year and we might just make it. But while we're here, thank you everybody for following us, for watching this video, for liking, supporting our posts. You know, every single like, etc., like, share and so on is massively important to us to help us grow. And of course, Nan and Grandad, or Mum and Dad, thank you again. That was a nice surprise today, just popping up out of the blue, having a day off work and coming up to support us, which is shown here at the start of this video. These are memories that will last a lifetime. Again, thank you everybody. And hopefully next video will be up shortly. We've got Warden Law tomorrow as I'm editing. It's now Friday, so we've got a long day tomorrow, 3.5 hour journey to get there. More memories to make. Hopefully Oscar can make an A final for the first time this season in Club 100. We'll see. See you on the other side.
We've equalised. Stands for...
Yeah, we've done an Oscar. Blue scored an own goal at the beginning of the match. What you done at the beginning of the racing today?